As Nelson Mandela once said, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Today, our show is dedicated to discussing crucial topics that impact our children and ultimately our society's future. Welcome to Today with John and Helen, live on PlusTvAfrica. I am John Senaya, and I'm so excited to introduce, sitting in for Helen, our beautiful and eloquent Cece. Yeah?
Good morning. Thank you, John. I have some pretty big shoes to fill. First, we are joined by Julian Joshua Matthew, a parent coach and child educator, to discuss budget holidays, the new normal for school vacations. She'll provide valuable insights on how parents can creatively and economically engage their children during school holidays and in these challenging economic times. Right after that, we'll be having our segment Cultural Conversations, where our host will have an eye-opening discussion on embedding African culture in global fashion with her special guest, Dimeji Ilori, a fashion designer.
Yeah, and finally, we will welcome Bukola Aderemi Ladigbolu, an educator and advocate who will address the sensitive and critical topic, child rape. Are parents doing enough? That would be a big question, don't you see?
Yes, I just say. Stay tuned for a day filled with meaningful discussions aimed at enhancing the well-being of our children. Let's take a quick break now, and when we come back, our first guest will be in here with us.
This is Today with John and Helen, live on PlusTvAfrica. And yes, we're thrilled to kick off our show with an insightful discussion on a very timely topic. Our first guest is Julian Joshua Matthew, a dedicated parent, coach, and child educator who is here to talk about budget holidays, the new normal for school vacations.
Julian is the founder of Noble Women International and Noble Couples International, and is a mother of 3. With a background in library and information science from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, she brings a wealth of knowledge and practical advice to today's topic.
And in these challenging economic times in Nigeria, many families obviously are seeking creative and economical ways to keep their children engaged and happy during school vacations. So Julian will share valuable insights and tips on how parents can make the most of their resources while ensuring their children have a memorable and fulfilling holiday experience, which is going extinct.
Yes, you can say that.
So please join me in welcoming Julian Joshua Matthew to the show. Julian, first tell us, what's the trick? Mother of 3 and still looking like a youth copper.
She looks fantastic, doesn't she?
It's okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Like I said earlier, I have a recipe.
You have a recipe?
Yeah, I will share after the show.
You share after the show. So Julian, you're welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
Let's dive into it so we
right.
can make the most of the little time that we have. Could you just explain what budget holidays really are? And maybe why they're becoming the new normal for school vacations in Nigeria.
All right. So, firstly, budget holiday for me, I'd say is you're having that vacation of your choice without necessarily breaking the bank, because I think a lot of people are currently under pressure. Like once it gets to July in particular, a lot of families would want to go for vacation, August, and then it's really becoming like a competition.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
It's more like a competition right now.
Okay.
Yeah, because like most children want to actually go on vacations.
Yeah.
And I mean, we know what's happening in the country right now.
Yes.
It becomes like a situation where every parent is under pressure.
Yeah.
So we can actually have that vacation when we plan for it.
Okay.
Yeah. we can plan for it. Aside that, like I personally, I've never really carried the kids for vacation, but then I would say we have a vacation in the house.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Without
have
having
it.
to go
We
all over the
don't. We
place.
don't have to. So you plan for it. Kids like being engaged. I think that's one thing I would say. Being a mother for say 11 years, dear, it's once you engage your child, especially in what he or she likes, it becomes comfortable for that child.
Okay, we'll come to the how.
Okay.
So you've told us what a budget vacation is.
Yes,
That
sir.
is vacation that is properly planned for. Okay, I know that CC is itching to ask you one or two things to,
Okay.
to take us to the next level.
All right.
So please, because this is really is close to home. I have children as well. So
Yeah.
how can parents plan a fun and educational holiday on a tight budget? There's this cash squeeze now. So how can we go about doing it, even taking into consideration the likes of each child, like you said?
So just like I said earlier, it has to do with a lot of planning, right? Especially when you know your kids are those ones that like to have fun and are keen about vacation. So you don't just wait until July before you begin to, okay, what do I do and all that. You plan towards it. When you scout online, you'd see organizations or firms that offer discounts for vacation
Okay.
gatherings, right? Probably you would want to travel. You could book ahead of time. Way ahead of time. So you have a
Okay.
discount there.
save
Yeah,
on-
you have a discount there. And then, like the kids in particular, especially the ones that are in the urban settings, they're tricked about visiting the rural areas. Like they want to have that other side of life.
Oh, they want to see.
Yeah.
They want to see home.
Yeah.
The experience.
Sometimes you can actually leverage on that.
Okay.
Like you can decide to, okay, we're going to the village for this vacation, right? And when you get to the village, you explore a lot of things.
Do we still have villages?
We do. We do.
I do.
We do. We do. So that treat they get from the village is a whole lot of fun for them, right? So you can actually consider, okay, can we plan towards going to the village? And you tell them, oh, mostly they see these things on TV. Can we go fishing? Can we go swimming? Kids are even thrilled about wanting to farm. Yeah. They see it on TV. They're wondering what does it feel like. Okay, especially for now that we're in the rainy season. Okay, can we go to the village and do a little farming?
What you're saying is that they're actually missing out on some
they're
of those things.
missing out on those things.
I mean, it just dawned on me now that farming
it's fun.
and swimming in the river
Yeah.
and
They are nice experiences.
using the grinding stone instead of the blender to,
Exactly.
these must be very creative ways of getting the children reintegrated into the society. And wow.
So that you're killing two birds with a stone.
With a stone.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're saving your money. Yeah.
Yes.
And at the same time, the kids are learning. They're catching fun and they're learning the other side of life. So I feel
And their culture as
exactly the cultural parts. It's slightly going extinct. I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but I think it is. Yeah.
You are right.
So you can actually use the opportunity of the holiday to reconnect them with families
With the
also.
family.
Yeah. So these days, another thing that can actually be done is you plan a group vacation for the kids. You plan a group vacation.
So it's all down to planning. Planning ahead
of time.
Wow.
You still get that fun you want and you still save money. Like the word I used initially, you don't have to break the bank because you want to have fun. For me, one thing that I think works for my kids is coloring. We do a lot of coloring. Sometimes when they disturb me, I want to rest. So I'm like, what do you want to be in the future? I want to be a doctor. Can you go and color your future for me? Yeah. For me, I've gotten an opportunity to rest. But then you see the child is jumping. She's happy. Yeah. So she's engulfed in it. Children like to what? They like to color. They like to do creative things. So even during the holiday, you can actually engage your children in coloring, painting, you know, what did you call that? They can also do crafts. Yeah. Some parents also use the opportunity of the vacation to teach their children skills. Yeah. Like, there was a time I asked my girls, can you write out the things you want to learn how to cook? So you see a whole lot of lists. So some parents, you can tell them, oh, this vacation, we're going to learn how to cook a lot, right? And they'll be excited about it.
True.
Yeah. So you could bake today, you could cook tomorrow, you could teach them how to fry these. Like, especially girls, they like to cook.
Yeah, I had to get busy with
Exactly.
their hands.
So you can make this vacation fun in different way. You must not travel. You don't have to travel before vacations are fun. You can even ask the children, engage them in conversations. What would you want to learn different this vacation? What would you want to do different? What's that thing you've been wanting to learn or do that we've not had an opportunity? You will hear stuffs. You'll not realize that, oh, we don't even really have to travel to make the children enjoy this holiday. So whatever they say, you take note of it and...
Travel as in travel out of the country.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you can actually hear from them, hear what they really like, and you make use of it towards ensuring...
Could you possibly involve them in the budgeting, for instance?
So now, one thing that works for me is you don't ask what the other person doesn't have, right? So if I tell you, and it's very helpful, oh, what we have is 100,000 for this vacation. What do you think we can do? Now the child knows that this is all that's available, right? And you know, they won't want to ask you something outside what you say we have. But when a child feels okay, oh, mommy and daddy has a whole lot, they begin to
let's go overboard.
Exactly. So they begin to ask for different things. But once they realize the fact that, oh, this is all what we have.
We have limited funds.
Exactly. Can we just work within this? And you would be surprised to see how cooperative they would be. Yeah. So I think having that conversation with the kids is also very important.
Wow. That really is an insight into, you know, involving them, getting them, you know, involved from the planning stage, the budgeting and all of
everything.
that. So they know what's available, they know what they know their limits. That's quite interesting.
So you as a parent, probably you're thinking, oh, this summer, go to the Bahamas, right? You'll be shocked that your child just wants to go to the park, you know, see some animals. And then when you have a conversation, oh, where would you want to be this holiday? And like, mommy, I want to go to the park, or can we go to the village? Do you get? So sometimes hearing from them can actually even be helpful to help you work within a limited budget. Like, so when you have those conversations with them, it's really helpful.
But you see, again, wouldn't that depend on the age
of the child?
I was about to make that. Because this would apply for younger children, I believe.
Yeah. No, okay, maybe children within the age of, say, 6 to 12. I mean, they still have that level of understanding. For the much younger ones, I think at the age at which they are, you can actually have your way around them. Like, okay, mommy wants you to go here, daddy wants you to go there. Do you understand? But for these ones that understand life a bit, I think you need to have that conversation with them, so that they don't feel, slightly offended, or maybe their wish has not been granted. But I think having that conversation with them helps them to act right.
You're making it sound so easy. How old, sorry, may I ask, how old are your children?
The first is, she'll soon be 11.
You've been in this business a while. 11,
and 7 and 5. For me, I don't know, maybe it's because they are girls, they're all girls. Well, I think we'll have conversations and we understand ourselves. Because there are times when, oh, mommy, I want this. I'm like, I'm going to get this for you, but not now. Or daddy doesn't have this money now, mommy doesn't have this money now. Can you give us some time? And they don't ask again. So I don't know whether it's because of something I've done over time. When I tell them, I can't afford this now, or you can't have this now, you wait. They wait. So I think when you have conversations with your kids, it helps them not to put you under pressure. It helps them not to put you under pressure. Because if you are talking to your child and your child is insisting, I want this, I want this, I want this, whether you like it or not, you as a parent, you get worried. You feel like it begins to make you feel like a failure, like you're not doing enough for your child.
Inadequate.
Exactly. But when you have a conversation with your child and your child understands what you are saying, I think you have a balance. Yeah.
Well, this is in a situation, should I say, all things being equal.
Yeah.
There are some rebellious children, or like you're saying, you have girl children, right? There are some boy child that would fight you every step of the way. So I guess there should be other tactics that would be.
That's defaming. That's defaming my gender.
You know, we're to think outside the box, because there might be some situations where you have a teenage boy who is insisting on his way. You understand? So the other tactics might need to be
for me.
There.
I feel like a lot of those things starts with the foundation. Yeah. So this takes us to how you started from the beginning. Sometimes I see some kids behave in certain ways and I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk. Do you get? Like, I see some weird behavior and I'm like, okay, how did you get to this point? Because I felt there was a point in time in which this would have been stopped. So parents tolerate some excesses from their children, even when they are at the stage where you can remove them, but they allow it to grow over time. For me, I think that's where you get to a point where you talk to your child and the child doesn't want to understand you.
That's the upbringing aspect of raising.
So I think it really needs to be gotten right from the scratch. So as you have kids that you can talk to and they listen to you.
So, well, let's even go back to some of the other dynamics of budget holiday, budget vacations, like we said. Now, it's not all about wishing to go to the village and all of that. Okay, I'm in school I live in Lagos with my parents. Grandma and grandpa are far away in Maiduguri. All right, you know what flights, tickets, what fares are like. You know what the roads are like. How do we circumvent all of that? How do we get around these things? Because it's not as easy as it sounds. Even local holidays. So what do you think we can do?
So another thing is camping here. So I think camping is also one fun part of holiday for kids.
Camping in Nigeria? Okay.
You can actually camp at your backyard. So when I say camping, it doesn't really have to be you going to the bush and all that. So it's just doing something different from the usual. Let them know, okay, we're actually on holiday, something different. If you have the space behind your house, you can put a tent there. You bring forth games. So for me, I feel over time, I've understood the fact that children are just one set of beings that like to be engaged, right? And then the most important is you knowing that thing in particular that they love doing. They're your kids. You've been with them for like years. So you know that thing that your child really likes doing that doesn't really have to make you spend a lot of money, right? We need to actually budget for holidays, whether we like it or no matter how small it is. You put down something for holidays. Let these children feel. So, like currently, I'm organizing more like a mini camp for children right now. And it's nothing mega, right? Nothing really big. Just something to make these children, get these children engaged. Something to the Bible talks about what an idle man being the devil's workshop. There are children here, but you need to keep them busy. Some people enroll themselves in Bible schools. They go for summer schools. For me, I feel like they've been in school for like how many months? Let them learn something different. Let them do something different, something creative. For much, like for teenagers, I would say, use the opportunity to learn skills, right? Some people go and learn how to make all those detergents, soaps, and all that. Some go to catering schools.
Arts and craft.
You know. So just learn something, do something.
Music lessons.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You have to know what the child wants at first. Okay, if you notice that your child likes singing, let's say his name is Ben. Ben, this holiday, would you want to go to a music school? She'll be excited about it.
Yes.
If you notice your daughter likes being engaged in the kitchen, oh, this holiday, would you want to go to a catering school? She'll be excited about it. So you need to understand what the child wants, and then use the opportunity and do something for the child during the vacation.
Right.
So I think this works.
You're actually right there, because I think I even have a personal experience.
Okay.
Like my daughter, we found out early that she's quite artistic, creative, and during her holidays, she would either go for photography sessions somewhere, or some art and whatever, or even cooking, and she always enjoyed those things, you know, and it's worked. It's even gone. She's taking all those skills with her through life now.
You know, so I would go a step further to say that sometimes it's not just what the child likes. Sometimes you might need to impose, because if you leave these kids, you know, maybe some of the things they like is like swinging from a chandelier or something, you know, like a boisterous child, you know. So if a child is so boisterous, you might need to bring some calmer skills. I would say, okay, for my own kids, I wanted them to learn a musical instrument, and they were not interested.
The Gen Z kids will not let you.
Oh, but I insisted, and I went ahead and I got guitars for them. And now they have those skills. You know, it will interest you to know that when my son went to class one day, and then some other boy that felt he knew how to play was just strumming along, and then my son goes like, let me have that again. And then he went and he was better than that child. And so didn't that make you feel good? You know, so sometimes you might need as a parent to put in some of those checks in place.
So the bottom line in here is that we should think outside the box, be creative, and you know, let's get out of it's even high time we got out of this, you know, skipping abroad all of the time.
You know,
we can make the most of our time.
What we have here.
Yes.
Sure.
Now let's even now look at technology and online resources, because I mean that's at our fingertips. You know, do you know of anything that can online that can help us to enhance the experience of a budget holiday vacation?
Okay, so like I said earlier, planning still comes back here.
Planning still
comes back here.
Planning is key.
Planning is key. So like, you check online. Like I said, when you want to book for your tickets, if you're booking ahead of time, you do that online, you get a whole lot of discounts, right? And then even for your reservations, you could book online for them. And then when you check online, it also helps you see varieties of places you can actually visit, right? Varieties of things you can do for the holiday. If you want to go, just we're talking about skills right now. If skills is what works for me this period or this holiday, so all I need to do is I go online and I check, right? Okay, which is the best catering school around for my child within my vicinity, not too far, because we're trying to cut down on transportation fare also. Then you pick one for her. If it's a music school, you check online. So online would help a lot during the holidays if you want to. It will help you locate places that you'd want to visit. And if you have to travel, if you want to travel, it's going to help you book online, book ahead, get discounts, and discover a whole lot more.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. that's quite interesting, because you know, a lot of these things we've taken for granted. You know, we're almost like an auto cruise. Holiday time, hey, hop to England, hop to France, South Africa, and all of that. But we forget that right there in, like you said, in our backyard, we could put up a tent and have a great holiday.
Or a tree house.
Interesting.
That's why I said having a conversation with the children is also very important. You'll be amazed to hear what they want to do.
Yes.
You'll be amazed. You know, they watch a lot of cartoons and all that, and maybe they've in the cartoon you talked about tree house. They watch the tree house. Oh, mommy, we want to stay around the tree house this holiday, or we want to build on the tree house. There's this building they do on it, you know. So a whole lot can just happen when you have that conversation with them, and you realize that you don't have to break a bank with just little money, and you have a fun-filled vacation or holiday.
Wow.
Lovely. Oh, this has been interesting. I only wish we could go on with this discussion, Julian. But like they say, time is never our friend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately so.
Thank you so much for taking out the time to be with us on this show.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Julian. Surely we'll be asking you to come on this show again. Maybe this time with your children. And many thanks for accepting already.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thanks so much. It's so good to have you on the show today.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Culture Conversation is next, and as usual, our host Chizobam Ofwebu will be having an eye-opening conversation with her guest. Stay tuned.